Yo, what is up, legends? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to jump into my track Glorious with my brother Skylights and Nino Lucarelli. Some of you will know this one from my Revealed 360 set. I played this as an ID back then. I think it was probably a year and a half ago almost. And the response on that one when I was looking at the comments was crazy. So I knew we needed to get it finished, get it wrapped up, and get it released. And I released it on my label, RAVE Recordings. The support's been great on that so far. No paid promotion, nothing like that, just organic reach. It's getting thousands of streams every day. And it just shows how loyal you guys are to the label, to the sound, to the movement. So, a little bit of background with the track. Skylights, if you don't know this guy, is a really good producer. He's a professional in the progressive house sound, shall we say. I actually met him about 2 years ago on Patreon, actually. And we stayed in touch ever since. When I heard his demos, the first day that we met on a Zoom session, I said his melodies are next level. Every single melody this guy makes is insane. So I said, yo, we need to make a track with your progressive melodies, but my kind of up-tempo ravey sound. So we decided to go for a hard drop in drop one, that big room sound, something that you can kind of attach to my name and my brand and my sound. And in drop two, we were going to do something more melodic and a little bit progressive house inspired. I've always loved progressive house. However, nowadays, it seems like nobody was really taking the sound to the next level. So we thought of ways that we could combine progressive house melodies with hard dance sounds. So if you haven't heard it already, this is the first drop of Glorious. And then we have the progressive drop, which is drop two. Now my laptop struggles with this one a little bit because of the layers involved. A progressive house track is quite complex, so it might glitch a little bit, but this is drop number two. So the track started with a melody from Skylights. So he, as I said, makes crazy melodies. So this one was a progressive house melody in a progressive house form. I said, I want to take it up to about 140, 145 BPM and see how it sounds. And it sounded okay. It just didn't have the energy, right? So we thought drop one is probably going to be psytrance because I was really hooked on the psytrance kind of bass lines at that point in time. And I said, why not let me try a psytrance bass in the second part? So I basically took his melodies, took his idea, and gave my sound design because I wanted my sound design to stand out in the track as well as his signature melodies, right? So we're going to go through drop number one first. We will be going through the breakdown next time because the breakdown is one of the nicest ones we've ever done. As you can see, the vocals from Nino Lucarelli, and we also have some little bits from Skylights that he added in the break because that's his part. The melodic side is Skylights' home, and you know the drop parts are where I can really shine. We're going to look at drop number one. Now, you're probably wondering about the drop lead because I think the drop lead's pretty cool. It's a pluck sound, but it is unique in some sort. So this is all the drop sounds. So as you can see, the reverb is crazy in this one. We have, is that four main sounds? The first one is the main sound, which is the loudest one. This is a really old sample, actually. What I wanted to do was find a unique sound design. So I looked for the really old sample packs, sounds I really haven't used in years, and this one was one of them. Sound number two is a pluck. Everybody knows this sound. Everybody who's listened to EDM knows that sound. The next one is a thickening sound. So this is a VST sound to make the sample sound more smooth. Gives a little bit of texture on the top there. And then finally we have, I think this is Radar. It is Radar. It's just a big room saw, basically. Adding saws to your plucks can make them have way more energy and just a much more full sound. So that is pretty much it for the main sounds. Literally 4 sounds, that's all it took. We'll go through the processing in a second. I just want to mention quickly this channel pitch. Now this is super important. Without it, it just sounds dull. It's not supposed to sound like that. See how boring it is, but with the pitch bends, it just gives it extra life. A little bit kind of hard style with the pitch bends there, and I just thought it made so much sense to just do this because it was quite a stagnant, simple, I'm not going to say boring, but simple melody. I needed to do something to spice it up a little bit. Now, in addition to that, we have some reverse sounds, which is the pluck sound bounced out, and I clicked reverse. And this just made the transition really smooth. See how it kind of goes, and it provides just more movement. And I'm super big on movement if you didn't already know about this. I hate stagnant, basic, boring drops. If you keep things moving with these reverse sounds and stuff, it just makes a massive difference. We've got some, this is just an automation of the reverb. This is stuff that you've seen a lot. It's just trying to keep the reverb moving also. You know, the leads are moving. I want the reverb to move as well. So that is pretty much it on the leads front. We can see the processing right now. As you can see. Let's make sure we get all these right because I think I process things differently. It's a long time since I've been in this project. This will be the sample pack next month, by the way. Some sick sounds for you guys. If you are a patron, go and download The Light, my track with Justin Prime. That one is the latest sound pack. All the sounds from that track, it's already released, so go and grab it. Okay, so the main sounds are on channel 66. As you can see, I'm going to name this so you can kind of understand that a little bit more. So that's the main lead, and this is the main bus. So what I've done is put the main sound in 66, routed it to 67, because as you can see, I'm using quite a lot of plugins here, so I needed to link it. If we go to number 104, that is the mixer channel, which has the backup leads, the added leads. So these are the synth sounds, as you can see at the bottom, the silent and nexus, which make the sample sound more synthetic, like from a VST, which sounds more natural. A sample is quite stagnant, right? So that is looped into the main bus. So we have the main sound, the added leads going into the same bus. So we'll look at number 66, which is just the main pluck sound. Without the processing, it sounds like this. But as you can see, I've given it that next level EDM power. How did I do that? So it's a Camel Crusher, Shock, Surprise, Blood Overdrive. Quite a little, it's a little bit on the heavy side from what I do now. Now I'm bringing the post gain down a lot because I feel like it gives a lot of unnecessary frequencies, but it does thicken the sound a lot. I tried a trash, it didn't work out. I have an EQ. I was still using the old school EQ at this point where I don't even take away these frequencies. But you live and you learn, you know. I upgraded to Pro Q3 and I never looked back. So this is the kind of EQ. Low mids and mids, as always, is the focus. I'm trying to lift a little bit on the highs around the 5K. This, because I just felt like it was a horrible frequency. Now, in Pro Q3, you can really see the harsh frequencies a lot better than you can in parametric EQ2. But that's just a dip to try and make the mix more smooth, more clean, sorry. So we have S1 Imager making the pluck a little bit wider. You've got the kick and the side bass all down the center, so you really want to push this lead to the sides of the mix slightly, just to give it more fullness and more presence in the mix. We have the Arts Acoustic Reverb, which is linked to the peak controller, as you can see. I wanted that more of a pumpy sound on the peak controller, so I have left the tension a little bit less, and I didn't want to go full pump. This is full pump. A little bit too much, so I wanted a little bit more subtle. But still the same kind of effect. So we have the Pro Q3, which is actually when I came back in the project, I think about 8 months later to get it ready for release, or like 10 months later or something like that. I started doing some extra tweaks, and the Pro Q3 was just to lift parts of the pluck sound to make it more present in the full mix, of the drop. Then we have the side chain, a quick chain, so it's not super tight and super punchy, because I wanted that pluck to just be there fully present. I didn't want it to be dipping out too much. So as you can see, I didn't even use 100%. So that is the main plug sound, all the processing that goes into that. We're going to look at number 104 because that is for the added sounds. This won't be as distortion heavy. I have used the same Camel Crusher and Blood Overdrive, a copy and paste thing, but the EQ will be different. As you can see, low mids is where I've focused this, not the high mids. We have another EQ there, which I actually did the correct cut, basically. So go me. I also have these leads also wide. Now, if I was to make this song again today, I would be having these added leads quite wide, and I would probably have the main plug sound a little bit more narrow. I feel like putting these two really to the sides, the side bass down the middle had a lot of work to do, had a lot of like frequencies to cover. So what I would do is make a little bit more mono the main sound, and these sounds are just great to push in the sides to give you extra depth. We have Endless Smile, which is just, you know, build up stuff, and then another EQ just lifting out sounds frequencies that I needed. And this is what it sounds like without the processing. And with, completely transforms the sounds. I think the Blood Overdrive is one that really I should thank for that, because it just adds so much power to a sound. So that is literally the plugs. That's all it is. It's quite a simple project. Now I'm trying to use different VSTs and really take my sound to the next level. But this was a really good drop and very simple. We'll look at the drums and the bass line. Bass line's just a side bass, which I got from Splice. I just duplicated the first one and just copied it. And what I did was added quite a lot of a boost to the bass in the low end. The kick's quite a short and clean one, so I needed the side bass to do a lot of work here. I used G-Tune just to make sure it was in the right key. A filter and this kind of stuff is just used for intros and stuff. But as you can see, it's really good energy. Really clean as well. That's what I liked about it. We have a sub bass. Actually, no, this is the hardstyle kick layer, because the only sub bass I think was from the side bass. So we have this crunchy layer, which is a really old sound from Kashmir. Paired with this sound. So two hardstyle layers with the side trance, because I wanted this track to be progressive house, hardstyle, big room, side track, everything just in one. So I wanted to take a lot of inspiration from different sounds. So I added these two different hardstyle kick layers. But with the side bass, it was just a really nice crunchy sound. Got the little short kick drum, very clean. Nice bit crush effect on it there. Not much on the processing, I think just boosting the sounds. Yeah, boosting the low end, I did a little spike just to give the kick itself more fullness. So together we have this kind of effect right now, and this already sounds pretty cool. I wasn't completely happy, so I added this little top to the side trance bass, which just really pushed on the high end and really just gave it a nice little sprinkle. And again with the top kick, this is just a hard style top kick, just to make sure that kick really punches through. Then we have these extra stuff. So this is the ear candy stuff. I wanted a nice stab. So we have two here. We've got a brass noise. The standard ass brass noise, but I did cover it with another sound to make it sound more unique. In 2021, 2022, there's no excuse to be just using the brass stab on its own. So that's why I decided to kind of use it, because it has a good energy to it, right? But I just needed to stick something over the top to kind of dress it up a little bit and make it not sound like a basic ass brass stab. We also have some acid sounds. Really nice acid sounds. This sound, I mean, I don't know why I added that, but altogether it sounds really sick as a fill. This one I believe is just like a saw sound. Yeah. Really nice. It just, all the sounds there have that good crispy kind of texture, and texture is really important. You don't want your tracks to just sound too bland. We have this sound also, so altogether it just sounds really, really next level, and I might use this in another track. We have a screech. It's really important to use these kind of fills because it just keeps that energy there, and it keeps the interesting elements a part of your track, and it keeps the listener interested as well. We have some toms, really nice ones actually, paired with these. Really, really sick. Really, really big room there, and I absolutely love that. We have the fill section. It looks quite complex. We'll go through step by step. Hardstyle influence, acid influence. Got a reverse sound, which is the big room kind of influence. Got a big snare. This one, yeah, Nino's vocal saying glorious. Yeah, and I think these are all vocal inserts. Yeah, so that's it. We also have like lots of drums here, but this is just standard stuff. Nothing too fancy going on there. As you can see, lots of loops. I wanted to go for the because the side trance bass is going so I wanted something to sit nicely on top. Risers, but I do have an extra layer in there, which is the sound from the breakdown, which is a trance plug, which I do open up the cutoff of, like this. But we will go more into that sound next time when we jump into the breakdown, because it is its own thing. It's a work of art. I really love the breakdown. We'll go into that next time. But for drop one, that's pretty much it. It's quite a simple drop, even though I've been speaking about it for like almost 20 minutes. Drop number two has a lot more going for it. There's a lot more elements involved.